Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. A new day, a new chair. Because somebody destroyed my old one. So today what I'd like to go over is this story from Nevada that disabled Nevadans are fighting for the right to repair their electric wheelchairs. Many people have come to my channel because I talk about Apple product repair. Every now and then I may talk about other consumer electronic repair. But one of the things that I've learned as I've gotten older and as I've met with more people in the industry is that the problems that I talk about in this channel, when I talk about how Apple goes out of their way to restrict repair and ensure that we are not able to do our job, is that this is something that's been happening in many industries. And more of us in these different industries are waking up to the fact that if we don't do something, if we don't push back against it now, that going into the future, we will not be able to repair what we own. And if we can't repair what we own and we subscribe to everything that we own, that we don't really own anything. And many of us, in addition to not just the people in repair, but also the people who watch this channel, are not the type of people that when they own nothing will be happy. They're the type of people that actually won't be very happy because they value sovereignty and private property and freedom. So I wanted to go over this article with you. It says people who use powered wheelchairs have complained for years that manufacturers won't let them do minor repairs themselves. And now a Reno local is pushing for change. Connor Fogel is a local artist, photographer, and disability activist. He was born with a severe case of cerebral palsy and has been dependent on his electric wheelchair his whole life. But when his chair breaks, he is stuck in his tracks. Last year my chair broke and it took 7 months for it to get fixed. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. Fogel is one of 3 million Americans who rely on an electric wheelchair, and when a part needs to be replaced, they experience a severe delay, as in most states they can't repair the chair themselves. Currently, an owner of a powered wheelchair must seek diagnostic, maintenance, or repair services of the wheelchair from the manufacturer, but there is one state that found a way to expedite the process. Brianna Titone, a Colorado state representative, is one of the many sponsors behind the Consumer Right to Repair Act passed in Colorado in 2022. So having the ability to go to a repair shop, fix it yourself, or take it to the manufacturer, you should have choices in how you fix your stuff or you don't own it. The act makes it easier for people to fix their powered wheelchairs when they wear out or break down by requiring repair shops to sell the plug-in parts to those who need them. It eliminates the bureaucratic hurdles of prior authorization on repairs. The rule of law allows parts to be direct to consumers rather than having to call and schedule repairs. I repeat, the rule of law allows parts to be direct to consumers rather than having to call and schedule repairs. Now, I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine that you have a broken power switch on your wheelchair, the thing that you use to get around, and having to wait 7 months, being immobile for 7 months because you're waiting for a very basic part. One of the things that I've done for a really long time is I talk about these issues in my industry from my perspective, in my way, which, let's face it, most of the time rubs people the wrong way. If you read most Reddit threads where my name is mentioned, the top voted comment tends to be, this man is an asshole, I hate him, I hate his voice, I hate his receding hairline, I hate the bags under his eyes, I hate his chair, I hate his cat. So one of the things that I've been doing over the past few years is I've been trying to fund groups that do this from a different way, in a different perspective, and that communicate to different groups of people that receive information in a different way. So when it comes to wheelchairs, one of the groups that I've given a few $100,000 to from the nonprofits over the past 2 years has been producing stuff like this. This is from US PIRG Education Fund. It is a 23-page report called Stranded: Repair Restrictions Immobilize Wheelchair Users. In the report, it goes over the issues that they face. You have cool little pie graphs and shit like that over here. As you scroll down, there are a bunch of sources. You can see the citations for everything that is said in a nice report way. And they also have surveys that go over the experiences that people have had. So when somebody says this isn't really a problem, they can hand this to a legislator and go over the quick bullet points and go, well, here's actually how it's a problem. Here are the sources for that information. Here are the people that we spoke to. Here are the actual ways that people are being restricted. And as a result of all of this work being done, which is amazing work on the part of Nathan Proctor, Kevin O'Reilly, and his team, you have a bill that was passed last year, the Colorado Right to Repair Bill for wheelchairs, so that the next time somebody like this gentleman has an issue with something like a power button on his wheelchair, he is not stuck and stranded for 7 months, unable to get around because of this entire system. And it looks like this is starting to spread to other states. People in Nevada have looked and said, my neighbor does not have to wait 7 months to repair their wheelchair. I would have not been immobilized for 7 months if I was in Colorado. I want that here. And it looks like more and more people in more industries are waking up to the you will own nothing and be happy paradigm and saying, you know what? No, I want to be able to fix what I own. I want to be able to say that I own what I own. And I think that this is a good thing. This is a great step forward. And as I've always said, This couldn't have happened without the help of all of you. The people that received the money necessary so that they could do this report rather than get a, quote, real job. That's money that came from people like you. And also people like my billionaire donor that is currently my boss at Futo, Aaron Wolf, who gave me $1 million to start this nonprofit, which has allowed a lot of stuff like this to happen that otherwise most likely would have never been able to happen because there would not have actually been a budget for it. And one of the things that I've said many, many times is that I think it's very important that this movement move beyond me. This cannot be based on me screaming into a camera. Some people will like the way that I speak. Some people will like the way that I teach, and some people will like the way that I advocate for things. Many people are going to find the way that I speak and advocate for things to be aggravating, to be obnoxious, to be arrogant, to be receding in the hairline, and in all the things that you'll read in comment sections on numerous websites. Something like this doesn't have my name on it at all. It doesn't have my personality on it at all, but it has the underpinning principles and philosophy of the movement there, along with all of the data necessary to advocate on behalf of it, not just for my field, but for many other fields. And the more people we find from other fields, whether it is farm equipment, medical equipment, wheelchairs, home appliances, everything else, the more likely we are to have a larger group of people that push back against this dystopian future where you are not able to fix what you own. And if they decide to go forward with something like this in the state of Nevada, they have my support 100%. The same way that this occurred with the support in Colorado for the wheelchair bill. In 2021, they tried to push forward a wheelchair bill and they were completely ignored. The way this worked is they said that they had a lot of questions. The legislators said they had a lot of questions. And all of these people that actually traveled to the state capitol to answer these questions in wheelchairs were ignored. Last year, we hired a lobbyist, and that lobbyist got it done. That lobbyist did everything that was necessary in order to ensure that that bill was passed. I'm not only in this for myself. I'm not only in this so that Apple products can be easily repaired. I'm not doing all this work so that I can get a CD3217. I would also like to see other people in industries that I will never benefit from be able to have the same ability to be able to say that they can work on their own property that I would like to have. And if I'm able to move that forward in a state I don't live in for products that I don't work on, as long as it fits that basic underpinning of right to repair, I'm for it, and I'm happy to advocate for it, and I'm happy to ensure that documentation like this can be created, that there are people available to do the advocacy work. Because again, you know how aggravating it must be to actually show up to the Capitol and get ignored. Again, it's one thing when you're talking about, and I really don't mean this in a patronizing way. I apologize if it comes off that way. But there will be people that say, I have a job. I cannot show up to the Capitol at 1 p.m. on a Thursday to talk to my legislators. I just can't do that. And I can't afford a lobbyist. And that's understandable. But then you have politicians that will actually ignore people that not only probably have jobs, not only are they not available, but they're also disabled when they actually took time out of their day to show up. I realize that those individuals may have a couple more problems than somebody like me being able to show up at 1 p.m. on a Thursday to a meeting at the state capitol to be able to talk to legislators and to go back over and over and over again to talk to different ones and try to get things done. So I'm happy to facilitate the hiring of a lobbyist to get these things moving forward in these particular states. And I have to thank all of you for helping to make that possible, because without the help of all of you, I don't just mean financial help. I mean the help in terms of spreading this around as an issue, telling your friends and family members it's an issue, helping them in their own personal lives when they have a problem with something, fixing something for them so that they understand the joy of repair. None of what's been happening over the past several years would actually be occurring. This is all because of you. Thank you very much. And as always, I hope you learned something. Also, by the way, one little bit of shilling and advertising before we end this video. So I have virtually no local business at this point because I moved my company from New York to Texas. So I have a lot of mail-in business, and that's absolutely great. I'm very happy for that. But we're looking to try and get a little bit more local business. I have a 15-year reputation in New York, and I have a pretty much 0-year reputation in Texas. So I got a bunch of these little flyers made, and I'd like to put them in the proper places, the proper bulletin boards in the university at UT at Austin that is right across the street from me. But I'm not exactly sure where they should go and things like that. So if there's anybody that watches these videos that actually goes to UT that is open to helping me do a little bit of guerrilla marketing there, put these in all the right places and stuff like that, I would be happy to pay you. I will include an email email down below in the video description that you can email if you are open to getting paid to, put this in the right places all over UT so that people know that we exist and are open to using our business. Again, I'm more than happy to pay you for this. If this is something that you're open to doing and you watch the channel and you would like to help me build the local business a little bit, by all means, send me an email, and thank you very much. We're also still doing the workshops at Futo at that address, the same address of my business here, that you can learn about at futo.org/workshops. It is open from 11:30 to 6:30, Monday through Friday. We have 10 reviews here already, which is pretty cool, where people can come in and work on their particular project using a microscope, a hot air station, and a soldering iron. So if you don't have experience with a multimeter, a hot air station, a microscope, or a soldering iron, and you would like to get experience in an environment with people who know what they're doing, and you don't want to pay any money, you're more than welcome to come by the store and sit down at one of those stations. We've had people come by with everything from graphics cards to breast pumps that they've tried to work on and solder stuff on. We've had somebody come in with a early 1990s car airbag computer, all sorts of random different little projects like this. Somebody had brought in a PlayStation 2 the other day, which we were able to get image working on again. Sometimes you may bring in a project where you're able to learn something. Sometimes you may bring in a project where you're not able to learn anything and you can't fix anything. But what I'd like is for people that don't have the money to be able to buy upfront a microscope, a hot air station, a multimeter, a high quality soldering station, to be able to have the experience of sitting down at this equipment, known good equipment that works well, being able to speak to somebody who can answer some of their questions. In the early days, there were certain really small things I were doing that were wrong when it came to my soldering and my troubleshooting. And when I was doing these things that were wrong, because I didn't have any place to go, it took me 2 or 3 years to figure out what I was doing wrong. However, if I had the ability to come to a place like this Futo Open Repair Workshop over here, I would have been able to figure out what I was doing wrong inside of probably 1 or 2 hours, because somebody would have pointed out to me and told me, hey, you're not supposed to be soldering like this. Hey, you're not supposed to be doing that. Hey, when you do diode mode, you need the red probe to be on ground. This would have been very, very useful to me, and I'd like to provide this service to the next generation of people would like to do something similar to what I've done here. My boss here, Aaron, who graciously made that donation of $1 million to my nonprofit several years ago, has a mission of people being able to better understand and control their computers. And a part of that mission is people being able to actually open them up and do some work on them that they otherwise would have thought is not possible. And having this workshop available and open to the public where anybody can come in for free and use the microscopes, the soldering irons, the hot air stations, and the multimeters to be able to troubleshoot and work on their electronics and have a greater understanding of how they work is a core part of his mission. We don't just want to take your money to fix your devices and just do advertising of our business. We'd also like to give back something to the local community as well. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.